All right, everybody, we're going live right now. This is one of those instances when I hate describing everything on Eastern time because I don't live in Eastern time, but it just seems like that's the norm. And I'm afraid I may have made a mistake, but we'll see. Fresher Luke should be coming on tonight. I'm running a little bit late, 5 minutes late from what I was planning, 9 p.m. Eastern time. But now I'm like, did I say Eastern time or did I say a different time? So I feel bad. Sorry, Luke, if I screwed up the time. But we're going to stream anyway, and we're going to talk about animation because I'm actually really excited about that. So I really hope that it works out for Fresher Luke and that he will be here and that I did not mess it up. So yeah, I'm really excited to do this. It's been a while that I've actually thought about animation. I have no capability in doing it at all. But I respect the game. I respect them when people can, and I think there's a lot of power in animation. Um, so we're going to talk about that first. Chat here. We have Paulus Arts. Hell, hello. AL is here. Hi? Question mark. It's been a little while since I've been around. Statistical Zero, the bane of anyone that doesn't live on Eastern. Yeah, and I don't even know if Fresher Luke. I want to say he's Pacific, maybe. I'm not positive, but that's part of the thing too. Is like, why are we using Eastern time when? I mean, I just have to assume that everybody's Eastern time. I don't know why. That's just the way it has evolved. Paul Riley is here. Great to see you. Welcome, welcome. Um, anyway, so hopefully we'll get Fresher Luke in, and yeah, I'll keep an eye on it. If not, though, we're still gonna look at his campaign. I don't know if I mess it up, and I will reschedule as well. We'll figure out. We'll do it on a mountain time. How about that? Because that's where I live. Um, let me share my screen. Oh wait, hold on. I don't want to share my DMs. There we go. Let's share my screen like this. And I'm going to give you a few updates first while we're sort of getting things warmed up as well. Um, Dracula is fulfilled. I mean, all the physical perks have been shipped out, including the few additional backers that we got, um, like as fulfillment began. So here we are at 408 backers, which is nice. Good to see. So if you haven't backed it, you can still back it here now. The PDFs are next to go. So I did promise a deluxe version. And so I'm adding some things to PDF. I should have done it sooner. I know that. I mean, it's not going to be a lot, but I'm just going to sit down and compile that together, and we'll send out the PDF as well. And then the campaign will be 100% fulfilled, unless, of course, you back. Then we'll fulfill that as well. We'll get your order out. Always feels great to get another book done, and I gotta say, there's something nice about sort of expanding the titles that I have. It's always so far everything I've shipped out has been Downcast. When I think about it, it's kind of wild because I've been writing and doing so many other things. But yeah, so far Downcast has been it so far. So it's kind of fun to have a different book that is now shipped out, like in existence. It's shipped out. It's in my hands, your hands. Especially in this case, Gaseous Clay just received and read Dracula Beauty. Awesome. I love it too when people are reading them. Love it. AL says I didn't get mine yet. I did see yours, so I know it's in the mail. But yeah, I'm imagining it's gonna be every day here now. Probably this week, you're gonna be seeing new people getting books. So that's pretty exciting. Um, good stuff. But yeah, getting Dracula out is great. Fatal, because I know people are gonna ask about it, which is great. Don't get me wrong. It does not bother me when you ask about Fatal. I hope I hope that it doesn't come across that way, because first off, I love talking about Fatal. Two, um, especially if you're a backer, you have a right to know, and so don't hesitate. But because I know it's going to come up anyway, I'm going to bring it up myself. I'm checking in with Charlie. He said he was hoping. I don't want to make a promise here, but this weekend, because it was a long weekend, he was hoping that he would be complete with the last page and that Fatal would be officially done. So I don't know yet. I haven't heard from him yet. but I will check in tomorrow morning and see. I'm hoping that that is the case. Colors are underway. They are in progress. And so my goal is to have Fatal, like I want to have everything ready, put together, and sent off to the printer before the end of the year. I know that might sound like a lot of time, but you have to understand there's a lot of stuff that has to happen after the art is finished. And so that's sort of my goal. Obviously, I want to get it done like sooner, if all the colors are finished. But I mean, when we're still getting the last pages of line art, colors obviously can't start on those. So we're working on it. But I am very, very excited about Fatal. And I think it's going to be one of your favorite books. That's all I got to say. So looking forward to Fatal now that Dracula's been shipped out, fulfilled. I am 100%. I've put a halt on Downcast, even though we've got like two of the 3 chapters finished for the next Downcast book. That's going to be put on hold. We're going to wait, and everything's on Fatal. And a lot of that is just optics. I just want you guys to know, like, clearly we're working on it. So I'm excited about that, and I can't wait to make that big announcement that the book, the line art is all finished. That's such a huge step. Yeah, I guess it says the hardcover is a nice touch. My first hardcover that I've done, and it was really cool to do hardcover. I gotta say, the few downsides is that it was more expensive for freight. Like freight costs about 3 times more than I was expecting it to cost. That feels bad. But actually shipping out from like a fulfillment standpoint, shipping out hardcover books was super straightforward. They cost a little bit more to ship, but I mean, it made it really easy. I didn't put any boards in it. It didn't make sense to with a hardcover because the hardcover is thicker than a board is. So we just did the hardcover in a Gemini, obviously wrapped in plastic. If you backed one of those collector tier bundles, I was really excited about those because we did orange bubble wrap inside of a black box. So it was very Halloweeny. I thought it was super fitting. I've been waiting for somebody to do unboxing of one of those packages. So yeah, I think that was pretty fun. Hardcover was great. I won't do it all the time, but it'll be good. So let's see. AL says I've been binge reading manga and I'm running out of stuff to read. Hey, good timing then. So hopefully, I mean you'll plow through Dracula pretty quickly, I'm sure. Check out All for Owen. That's right. That'll keep you busy as well. There's a full-on novel there. Aloise, the viewer, great to see her. You changed your name. I'm really looking forward to Fatal. I hope it really takes off and there's a part 2. This is one thing, again, people have been asking this question too, like, what about Fatal? Are you going to do part 2? And now as we got the ending, I talked a lot about the ending. We decided to go ahead and commit to there being a part 2 for Fatal. And so it just, there's a lot more to tell there. It'll be, it's fun. It's going to take a long time. I'm going to tell you that up front. And I think that would, that's kind of what you expect. But yeah, I think it's for the best. So yeah, even having said that, this first installment of Fatal, I think, is going to be really, it's a fun ride, and there's quite a lot there. So I think you'll enjoy that. Check out the All for Owen. I have. I hope you didn't lose any money on shipping, Clint. It wasn't too bad. International shipping was that's always the worst part. It's the VAT tax stuff that terrifies me in Europe. And I tried to limit how much we were shipping to Europe, but it is, I don't know. It's tough. You want to get everyone their books, but at the same time, I don't want to lose money over a crowdfunding campaign. Yang Yan Zhao is here. Great to see you. We probably should have taken a picture. I don't know if you've done a face reveal, but it was super, super great to meet you in person. We actually had a little bit of dinner, a little bit of ice cream together here. So that was pretty fun. Statistical Zero says that shiny card had to have been expensive. That was the other thing too, is you can promise if you just promise, hey, everyone's going to get a foil card without looking at how much that actually costs to give everyone a foil card, holy smokes, there's the foil cards are expensive. I was surprised at how expensive they were. The good news, I guess, is that even though I did the smallest print run possible, they actually sent me almost double the number of cards that I ordered. I don't know why, but I ended up having a lot of foil cards. I have extra foil cards, which is insane because it was supposed to be super limited, but I have more. I didn't pay for more. I mean, but I'll take it. So yeah, Paul Riley says Charlie's art is worth the wait. I mean, gosh, we're in definite spoiler territory now, and so I don't want to show too much of like the ending. But yeah, I mean, good stuff. It consistently throughout, it's been really good art. Obviously, the colors have been a team effort, and I mean, I'm really stoked about the colors too. So I think it's going to be fun. So I think you'll enjoy it. Yeah, I've been showing off my face for a bit. Ice cream is fantastic. Dang, I'm kicking myself now. We should have taken a picture. That would have been fun. Yeah. Okay, so that is Dracula. We talked about Fatal. Let me tell you about Downcast 4 while we're here, and then we'll kind of get into some animation stuff. Downcast 4. It's fun. The way that I structured it is I actually was attempting, because this year I was so ambitious, I was attempting to do multiple artists drawing the same story at once. And the way that was going to work is I have a flashback sequence that's super important, needs to happen. And I thought that's a great opportunity to have somebody else, another artist, draw that flashback sequence, which is Eric Weathers. He finished his story, still needs to be colored, but it looks outstanding. I think it's honestly some of the best. I think it's the best stuff that I've seen him draw. But everything he draws new is it's just better and better. Fantastic story. Nacho already has his first chapter done, and I told him to hold off on the second chapter. So that's 3 chapters total, kind of like we did with Downcast 3. It felt like that was a good amount. And it seems like the third chapter is going to be kind of a bigger one. So when that alternate issue comes out, it'll be a little bit thicker, but there's more to accomplish in that issue. So that's the way that it's going. In all honesty, if I had Fatal shipped out, like when I wish I would have had it out, Downcast 4 would be launching like next month, like because it's just ready to be. But I'm not going to do that. I think it's just best smart play to just, we're going to take our time on that. We'll keep pushing, but Fatal is the one that we're putting the work on, and we'll get that one done. But yeah, Downcast 4, I'm super excited about. I think especially if you've been following Downcast so far and you've been enjoying it, number 4 is huge. Like, it's going to open things up even more than it has been opened up. So I'm excited about that. What a great time to be making comics. It's been fun. Yeah. So, all right. Yeah, we'll get it. I'm sure we'll get a pick next time. Yes. Good call. All right, let me hold on a minute. I'm gonna stop sharing. I'm just gonna check real quick. I didn't see. Let's see, Fresher Luke. Still no response. He emailed me earlier and he was like, I'm gonna assume that you forgot or something came up. And I'm like, no, 9 Eastern, that's 7 for me, right? So I just want to make sure I was about 5 minutes late, but dang, shoot, I was hoping we'd have him on. Regardless, this is what we're gonna do. Oh yeah, he did say yeah. Let's see if he shows up here. All right, I'm gonna share this animation, and I'm gonna guess we're gonna have to share some audio here, probably. There we go. So Random Saga, and here is the thing with animation. Okay, so I cannot help but think back to what it must have been like. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird, they came out with a comic book series that did very well, especially for indie comics. It sold well, and then they said, hey, we want to make some more money off of this. We want to like leverage it. And initially the plan was, if we make an issue this month and it makes enough money to pay off our rent, then us two guys that are living together can continue to pay rent the next month and make another comic. And all it was about sustainably keeping themselves in their apartment while they made the comic book. And then it went from there to, hey, let's make some toys. And that really quickly escalated into, in order for us to make toys, if Fresher Luke's here too. I see you, Luke. We'll pop you in.
Hello. Sorry, I
How's it
guess we missed each other. I apologize. I'm late.
No, you're fine. I was late. I was late first, but I was like, I'm just gonna hurry and launch it real quick or go live and warm it up. So I'm glad that you're here. I hope
Okay.
it's working out okay for you.
So I missed all the beginning of it. You were talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Yeah,
and how my campaign is a bad idea. Is that what you're saying?
yeah. No, so initially I was just catching people up on my stuff. So I actually just started talking about animation. I'll
Okay.
tell you.
All right.
This is what's so exciting to me about animation is that comics are a fantastic medium and you can like tell a lot of cool stories there, but animation it just opens it up to more people seeing it.
Yes. So that's a very good point you make. Yeah, animation does have a larger, I guess, audience, so to say, in a strange way. I mean, like, I like comics, and there's obviously overlap between the two disciplines, like a lot of overlap. But yeah, animation is a whole different kettle of fish because you're involving like other things like sound and cinematography and layout and other really interesting things like that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So it's cool to me that this is, as far as I know, this is the first animated project that I've seen from anybody I know. Anyway.
Well, Bancroft tells me that apparently Camel Moon has that title.
Did he crowdfund it?
I don't know.
He did a comic book.
But the distinction that I want to make is that Hail is it Hail Salad? Is that what his show is called? Mm-hmm. So that is cutout animation. Random Saga here. My campaign, which I am hoping people will back today, is actually the first 2D hand-drawn animation for Comicsgate. And I'm claiming that title. It's mine now. No one else can have it.
So the difference is, you'll explain it better than I can. I can tell the difference by seeing that it seems like Hell Salad is more of a quick and dirty way, and he does a fantastic job with it, but it's like it's just like a more simple way of doing animation.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
So Camel's version, we call it in the animation industry, we call it cutout animation. So it's like puppet animation, where like obviously there's drawing involved. Like he's drawn the I guess the character, but then he's like cut it up into segments and sort of overlapped it, and he just moves the segments to whatever position he wants them to be in. Like there's not really much in regards to depth, and they're kind of very limited in their movement, kind of like puppets are. Mm-hmm. Whereas 2D animation, 2D hand-drawn animation, it's where you're basically drawing every pose. The limit to what you can do with it is the limit to your drawing ability. And those are kind of the two big distinctions between the two.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is, basically like the animation that we all grew up on, but you're still seeing animation like this today. I don't know how much of it's like computer. I don't know
it's all computer now.
Yeah. Okay. But you're not like actually flipping, like drawing every single pose.
No,
you're drawing.
To heck with that. I'm not going to do that. Yeah. That's too much trouble.
Right. Yeah. But you're drawing, like, don't you have like the computer fill in the between or something like that? You'll draw where it starts. And
there's obviously various different techniques. That's like tweening. People have done that. You can sort of do that a little bit. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about the campaign. Let's start from the top. Like, have you already shown the trailer? Like, what have you already shown?
No, I literally just pulled it up. I was just catching everybody up on my stuff. And so I just pulled it up and was sort of introducing it with Team NT. That's exactly what I think of is.
All right. So do you want to ask a question, or shall I just go into my pitch, or
can we play the video first?
Well, there's two videos. So this one kind of explained, it's just me talking. The other one, there's another video underneath it that's like early test footage.
Oh, cool.
So whichever one you want to do first, I guess, is up to you.
Okay, let's do this one. We'll do the test footage, and because we have you here, you can explain it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll play this test footage first. Can everyone? Can you hear that?
Yep.
Okay.
Full screen. Full screen. Yay.
There we go.
Ta-da!
Nice. I like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and you can kind of see some of the character interactions, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Just there's the characters in it, which makes it fun. Clearly, this is not your first rodeo. You've done some animation.
So yes. So all right, I'll give the spiel. So yeah, that is absolutely correct, Clint. And you already know this. Like I've got 10 plus years experience working in the animation industry. I've got a bachelor degree in animation. I've studied this thing. I've been absolutely obsessed with wanting to make an animated show, either for kids or whoever, right? Like, but right now I feel like the time is right, just because currently in the animation industry, it's obviously been overtaken by a lot of ne'er-do-wells, ideologues pushing an agenda, and they've kind of lost their way. And I kind of wanted to make this campaign or this animation to sort of bring us back to basics, sort of show people like you can do good wholesome Western animation with good story, fun characters, character growth, interesting plots, and all that good stuff that we grew up with, that I've just, having worked in the industry, I've just seen a real lack of it, as well as a lack of professionalism and other lacking items as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've heard this complaint. Like, I did one video on CalArts, and I don't. It's like I don't know anything about it, but it was
dude. I could tell you so many stories about that.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, it's funny because it energizes so many people. I still get comments to this day, and it's been like way over a year, maybe even 2 years that I posted that video.
Yeah.
And I still I'm getting comments from that video from people watching it, because it's, I mean, people are paying attention, that the people notice that something has changed in animation, over time, and they miss what animation used to be,
Well, I mean, there's still vestiges of it, like Gennady Tartakovsky. He's still kicking it, dude. He's still knocking out bangers after bangers. The most recent one everyone's talking about is his animated series for Adult Swim called Primal, I think it is.
Okay, I've heard a lot of good about that. I've not watched it though.
But the thing is with that, he and his pre-production team do all the storyboards and designs in America, but they farm out the animation work to a studio over in France, overseas.
Oh.
So, I mean, that's sort of how far we've fallen. It's like,
wow.
There was also other stories where after Disney had sort of discarded doing 2D animation in favor of doing 3D, there was one point where I think they were trying to do like a 2D sequence for something. I forget what it was, but they couldn't find any 2D animators locally, like in America.
Wow.
And so they had to resort to going overseas to Europe to guys who could do it like perfectly in order to make it look in that Disney style, right? The classic Disney style we all knew and know and love, of that just fluid, well done, well designed animation. So yeah.
Well, it's wild, and I hear you say Western animation, and I love, like, I've been watching Demon Slayer a little bit with my son, and that's
Yeah.
been fun, you know. And I love anime. You know, I've been getting into it a little bit more, not a
How
lot,
dare
but
you,
yeah. But it's like
traitor!
all of that stuff would the reason it exists the way that it does today is because of Western animation. Is that true or
Yeah,
false? Yeah.
that is true. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, and that's kind of the sad thing about this whole thing that's been going on for the last 30 years. Like, America used to be the trendsetters in regards to culture. Like, Japan would always be copying everything that America would do. But it's only been in, like, I guess since 2015, Japan has stopped doing that.
Yeah.
They've stopped copying the West now. They're just doing their own thing, and they're doing it better, and they're doing it cheaper. And now in the industry, I know we're talking about the industry, but we should really be talking about the campaign. But
Yeah.
now in the industry, what was I going to say? Yeah, so now in the industry, we've got animation producers and executives. They're looking at Japan now because Japan does it cheaper, better. It's more popular with kids, and they just have such a dearth of content. Like, every season, every year, there's like 5 or 6 different anime shows
Yeah.
that come out and premiere or continue. It's just so much content. And like streaming networks like Amazon and Netflix, it's like a knife fight. They fight over these shows for exclusive rights to air them on their platforms, which tells you a lot.
Yeah.
Because they're not doing that with Western animation. It's only with Japanese stuff and
Right.
and Europe and some European stuff. So yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
it was getting so good too. Like I don't know. I think of oh gosh, now I can't remember the name of the show. Crying out loud. The Treasure Planet.
Yes, Treasure Planet. Yeah.
Oh, it's like toward the end, I think, of the 2D animation. I don't know the timeline events and stuff, but I went back and watched that with my kids, and it was like, wow, this is like really good animation. It was really impressive. And I don't know, there was just like a few ones during that era that were like fantastic, and then you just stopped seeing them, you know.
Yeah. Well,
So
that was about the same time that Toy Story got popular, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And in a sense, it was Pixar's fault that we lost 2D animation. So
yeah, it's crazy. And then you look back at those early Pixar shows at their 3D animation, and now like they just look terrible.
Yeah.
You know, for what they were in their time, like it was impressive, but like it's just funny how looking back it doesn't hold up quite the same. You know,
that is an interesting phenomenon, because obviously, like, instead of it being tied to, say, the skill of the draftsman, right, with 2D, it's tied to more the level of technological development where whatever the time that movie was rendered out, that was sort of the level of their render farms or whatever the heck that they were using, the complexity of their computers, which I think is kind of sad, you know, because some of the old 2D ones, they still stand the test of time. Like, people can still watch them because people like the look of 2D animation, believe it or not.
Oh yeah.
Like, there's just something about it that they just like, that handcrafted kind of feel. And I think that's partly the other reason why anime is so popular as well. Because they've still retained some of that. Anyway, Random Saga, hooray, here it is.
that lays the foundation for, hey, here are, I mean, this is independent animation, Western animation. I mean, this is like exactly what I love seeing, and being able to see, you know, people come out for this and support it. That's fantastic. So yeah, let's go over the tiers. What do you get here? This is the one I backed because it was at the top.
Yes, I did. Thank you very much. So this is the gold tier. This is a featured one. You get the comic book. You get the behind the scenes art book. These are all physical. The sticker set for the kids, a little art postcard, and of course, you get the online link for when I do the premiere. That's for everybody who backs this. You will automatically get an invite to the early premiere of when this goes live. And you get a digital download of it as well. And I kind of feel like the gold one's just like a nice sort of round out kind of everything kind of package. Like there's not too much, but there's not too little. You kind of get like a nice mix of everything.
Yeah. So you're doing a comic with this as well, then?
Yeah. So there's a
That's
20-page comic book that I'm writing and drawing right now.
Cool.
I'm drawing it, and that will ship out first. And then the plan is once this 10-minute short is done, then I'll start working on the art book, and that'll be the last thing that ships out.
Cool. Good stuff. So we have the beginner rank. This is it's the lowest, $5.
Yeah, it's the price of less than a price of a ticket to a movie.
Beautiful. Love it. That'll get you in. Then the bronze rank.
Yes. So bronze rank, you get the 6 sets and postcard digital download. So I'm just trying to incrementally like increase options here rather than say create like 2 options like I've done with previous campaigns and just put in a bunch of add-ons and then bamboozle people with choice.
Okay, so here's your digital rank.
Yes.
Same thing. Everything's digital though. Digital
so this is for international backers because 3Ds act as a lot of my fulfillment. And interesting fact, we have expanded fulfillment to Australia as well as America because he's expanded his fulfillment network to Australia. So so if you're in Australia and you want some of this, you would be able to get a physical reward. But for everyone else in Europe and Mexico and Canada, I wanted to give you this option. You get a whole bunch of really cool stuff for $15. I feel like it's a good deal. And yeah, that was. I just wanted to make sure I kept everyone in mind who wanted to at least get a little bit of it. So, yeah,
cool. I like it. Silver rank $25.
Yep.
So you're getting comic, online link, digital download, sticker set.
Yes.
Plus postcard. There you go.
So it's basically the gold rank, but you just don't get the art book. It's just the comic.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is like where, I mean, I would say if you're backing this, you want to get the physical perk and everything. And a lot of people, my wife was asking like, but you're backing animation project, how do you get something? And I like that you're pairing it with a comic book because you get that.
Yeah.
It's a collectible. You get that comic book, but you're also helping an animation happen too.
Yeah.
So that's good. You're funding that.
Yep. That's the thing. Like I'm trying, like, obviously I want to give people something in return, but on the other end of that, I'm trying to like raise funds to help fund the production of this thing at the same time. So yeah. I don't like asking for handouts. So I want to at least give some people something back in return.
Right. Yeah. I like that quite a bit.
Yeah.
Platinum rank, $100. Yeah. And this, I mean, I'm saying like to make the animations happen and stuff, this is fantastic. Like this is something you want to see more of. It's a good way to go. So what's the difference here? You get an acrylic pin.
Acrylic pin set, baby.
Oh yeah, a set.
Yeah. A set of pins. Not just one pin, a set of them. Yeah.
Collectible too. I like it.
Yeah.
Diamond rank. I like that your whistle has a diamond in here.
Thank you. I'm trying to stay in the theme.
Yeah. I like it. Same thing here. You get acrylic keychain, acrylic pin set, enamel pin.
Yeah.
And then
all the regulars. Yeah.
Postcard. Yep. Good
and
stuff.
Someone got that. Congratulations, whoever backed that.
Yeah. And if you're backing tonight, let us know in the chat, and we will salute you as you deserve to be saluted. We'll clap for you as well. So let us know your backer number, and we can get excited.
How many people are viewing right now?
We have 10 people right now. It's been fluctuating between like 13 and 10.
Okay.
So part of this, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been so busy lately. I've not been making videos, and you can really tell. It is not good for YouTube. That's for sure.
It happens.
Yeah. Sapphire link. So digital download, sticker postcard set. This is everything. What's the difference between this one?
I'm trying to think. I think there is something in there.
Oh, exclusive.
Oh yeah,
patch.
The exclusive patch. I probably should have included that. All right. Okay, I fucked that up. But you'll get an exclusive patch. as
That
well.
makes sense. Yes, you get that
Okay.
as well. Uh-oh.
Oh, you're gonna buy something? You buy an extra thing there?
I'm trying to scroll down and it's going crazy. There we go. Where was that? That was Sapphire. Pearl rank. You got a backer here at the Pearl rank too. Heck yeah.
Whoa. So you get so these ones are a little bit different with Pearl rank and below that. You get special I guess you get a special associate producer credit. You get
cool.
a standard t-shirt as well as the unique patch. So you'll be getting a t-shirt over everyone else that is unique, I guess, to that tier, so to say.
Cool. We have the Obsidian rank.
So Obsidian rank is sort of the same, but instead of the associate producer credit, you get a producer credit. Cool. You'll get your name under that in the credits list. Yeah.
Love it. Then there's God rank.
Yes.
For when you just need the recognition, you know.
Well, I mean, I added a whole lot of stuff for this. Not only do you get your name in the executive producer credits, you get a special snapback hat. You get a special t-shirt. You get to choose what kind of color you want your t-shirt to be, as well as all the other previous rewards. And if you can see, there's only 3 available.
Yeah.
And 3,000 times 3 is how much, Clint?
9,000. Is that where?
Which is strangely the same amount as the pledge amount that I have at the top of the campaign. Yeah, look at that. That's math. Oh my God.
Convenient. Well, I can tell you already, it's going well because Del A is backer number 36.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
Del, fantastic. I love it.
I appreciate it.
And I like this campaign, what I've seen so far. I got to know a little bit about the story as well because it looks super interesting. Yeah, go ahead and pitch the story for us.
So Random Saga is this story about this group of misfits. They live in this world called Epic Earth. Maybe you've heard of that. It's the same world that Forsaken Gods is set in. But it's set in the future, right? It's set after the events of Forsaken Gods. And it focuses on these 4 characters. And they live in this city called El Bazaar. And in this city, they have the main economy of the city is, these adventurers. They band together, they go out, and they raid these dungeons for treasure, and they bring it back and they sell them at these. What would you call a what's the American word for like a pawn shop, like a PAWN shop?
You could call it a pawn shop. We have pawn shops here.
Okay, so they take them to these pawn shops, and they exchange what they found for money, and that sort of stimulates the economy, kind of like drilling for oil or mining or prospecting or something like that. But the difference is like there's traps and monsters and stuff trying to kill them. And so these 4 characters, they band together because in order to get a license, in order to go and do that, you have to have a minimum number of 4 people in your party. And once you get a license, you get one of those whistles as like a badge showing kind of where your experience level is at. And so through serendipity, these 4 characters kind of get together and they kind of get on each other's nerves, and they kind of all got different quirks and flaws about them. And over time, they kind of like learn to work together with each other and improve as characters, and they kind of learn from each other as well. And so they live above one of these pawn shops called the Quest and Loan. You can sort of see it there.
It's right here. That's
cool. So the store is like on the bottom, and they live on the top there. And one of the characters, Wizard Lizard, he actually works in the pawn shop just to help pay the rent. But as you can see, he finds it boring, so he just kind of like slacks off because there's barely anyone in there. And so that's sort of it in a nutshell. This 10-minute episode 1. Thank you, Yang. Yang's really cool. He had me on his stream a little while back. I hope you're doing well, Yang. I hope you're feeling better. But yeah, this 10-minute one, it's a small story. I'm just trying to keep things simple and not too complex so that I'm not killing myself trying to get this thing animated. But it's an important story because I kind of want to put more emphasis on characters, character development, and how the characters sort of relate to each other, and how the events sort of, I guess in a way, play into that as well, and sort of help them develop and grow as individuals also. So
Cool.
I don't know if you want to go through the characters or not, or
Yeah, well, because I saw Vaughn was saying he voiced one of the characters too.
So
and
yeah, he actually it's just a support character. It's not one of the main characters.
That's cool.
But he actually voices two characters in this short. But here's the first character, Wizard Lizard. He's sort of like the de facto leader of the group. What are you doing?
Is that this guy? Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Sorry. I was
scrolling away as I'm trying to describe.
Here we go. Wizard Lizard.
Yeah, so he's like the de facto leader. He's like the brains of the group. And so he's this lizard who comes from this race of reptilians who don't like magic, but he's always wanted to be a wizard his whole life. And so he's kind of like left them and gone into the wider world to sort of like gain more knowledge on how to be a wizard and so forth. And part of his sort of flaw is that he might be very smart, but he lacks, I guess, emotional wisdom. Like he can't really understand, because he's a cold-blooded reptile. He can't understand sort of the behaviors and idiosyncrasies. That's not the proper way to pronounce it, but of how mammals behave. He can't quite understand why they do what they do. And so his whole arc is sort of like him learning to be less of a jerk and more of a, I guess, understanding and empathetic individual. And in a sense that kind of like makes him a better leader, so to say.
Okay.
And because the other characters drive him up the wall all the time with their antics, which leads us to the next character.
I feel like I know people like that in real life. So. Not lizards. Well, who knows? Maybe they are. Who knows?
But I mean, I guess it's kind of like a play on the whole lizard brain kind of thing people say. But then that comes to the next character, which is Marigold, who's a young man who was raised in this magical forest by fairies. And eventually they had to kick him out because they were like, you can't live here anymore. You have to go live with other humans. And because he was raised in this magical forest by fairies, like he's incredibly strong and like the strength of Hercules, so to say. Okay. But he's a complete wimp and completely naive, and he hates violence.
I love that his name is Marigold too, and he was raised by fairies. Like, but it's just like, yeah, that's a really funny dynamic. I like it.
Yeah, and so he's kind of like the big brother of the group, because even though he is a wimp, he's very noble and very honest, and he can speak to animals. But he doesn't know how to use his strength. And so his arc is that he's got to try to learn from being a boy and growing into a man, right? And also learning that, even though you don't like violence, sometimes you have to fight for the things that are important, like your friends or maybe an idea or something like that. And so that's his whole arc as well. And he's a very important character. He has a bit of a destiny as well, even though he acts like a complete silly Billy. But he kind of rounds out. He's kind of like the antithesis to Lizard Wizard in temperament as well. Okay. And so they kind of like play off each other a bit.
He's almost like more empathetic.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Yeah. Like they all sit on different. Obviously, there's different spectrums for different aspects of their personalities, and all the characters sit on different parts of that spectrum. Yeah. And so while Wizard Lizard might sit on like the non-existent empathy part, like Marigold he sits on the opposite side of that spectrum, right?
Yeah.
He's got a lot of empathy and understanding, and he just wants to help people, right? And that kind of plays into his noble nature. So anyway, moving on.
I like that. Yeah.
So then we come to Aphid, who's this young imp white orphan girl who's grown up on the streets of the city they live in, El Bazaar, her whole life. And she's incredibly small for an imp white, and so she gets bullied a lot. And so she's had to learn to survive on the streets by lying, cheating, stealing, scamming people, pickpocketing, all that terrible stuff. And so she kind of like, I guess, joins up with the rest of these guys here, just because, well, at first there's like safety in numbers, and she wants to use them to, so like be pawns in whatever scam she's cooked up to try and get some money, right? But then over time, they kind of like teach her, like, that's not like the right way to go about things. You gotta be honest with people, and you gotta be responsible, and you can't be doing these things anymore. And so, like, her whole arc is sort of like learning to become sort of a more positive member of society, and learning to be more honest, and learning to take more responsibility. And in a sense, she's like, when we meet her, she's kind of a bit of a wild animal, because she's just always trying to find the next meal, so to say. But yeah, and Marigold's kind of like her de facto sort of like proxy big brother. Like, she kind of really takes to him really well, and they kind of like teach each other stuff. Like, she's trying to teach him to have a little more confidence, and he's trying to teach her to be less mean and dubious. And yeah, so she's got this whole interesting arc as well.
That's very cool. Is this an all ages?
Yes, that's the other thing. This is all ages. This is for kids and families, and it's agenda free. It's as I said before, it focuses mostly on story and character development, and it's free of any of that kind of, what would you call it, woke-ish garbage.
Yeah, it's like no, like gender politics, and I don't want to have. I would rather, if I'm watching a cartoon with my kids, have a discussion about, hey, yeah, these friends, and I've seen some good ones, we'll like, hey, this kid, once he started thinking about other people, he was happier. You know what I mean? Having that kind of discussion.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Like, let's talk about the morals.
Well, that's the thing, because modern cartoons now, it's the opposite of that. It's like they give really bad lessons, like, oh, it's okay to cheat and steal and lie. Don't worry about it, guys. And as long as you discovered that you're gay, it's all good. And I do not agree with that at all, because my whole philosophy, no, he's not. This is independent. My whole philosophy is that, the relationship between a parent and their child is sacred. And me being, hey, there she is. And me being sort of someone who's, I guess, kind of creating culture, it's not my job to insert myself in the middle of that relationship, because that is totally wrong. It's my job to sort of just objectively present something, right? And then the parent and the child, they can talk about it afterwards. Because I don't know, tell me if I'm wrong about this, Clint. Like, are there any times where maybe, your kid has seen something that you haven't been aware they've been watching, and they come to you and they ask you something like really just out of the blue, and you're just like, excuse me, like, where did you hear about this, right?
Yeah, a few times actually, and it's annoying because it's like, first off, one was a book. My daughter read this book that was from the library, and it was, I'm trying to remember what it was called, like Maddie something, and it was transgender stuff.
Oh my God.
The thing is, it frames it in a totally different way. My daughter's like, how? She was more concerned about the biology of it, which I'm like, yeah, girl. But it was like, how did they have a girl when there's two? Like her trying. And so
you raised her right, Clint. Good work.
I know. But then it was like, now it's framed. And I have to figure out how they framed it so that I can dismantle the way that they framed it.
I know, right? I mean? And that's hard work you shouldn't have to be doing, right? Like, if they come to you with a question, it should be something where you as a parent instantly know the answer, right? It's not a chore, right? And so that's sort of what I want to aim with this, because that's the other thing. Like, a lot of these former peers of mine that I used to work with, they're pushing that stuff now, and that's not cool, and I don't like it, and that's not what we're supposed to be doing, right, as content creators. So so that's sort of like the basis or the foundation of why I'm making this in the first place.
I love it. I think it's noble, because animation's fantastic. I love all ages stuff, because it's like we can sit down, all of us watch it together and enjoy it.
I agree with Roland, but I don't know how else to describe it. It's like a catch-all term for everything. Like, what would you call it? Like neo-Marxism? I don't know.
Yeah, the thing is, we know exactly what you're talking about when you say woke. But
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, we could kind of dismantle it. But the other thing too is it's like I don't the way that they frame it is it forces me to try and explain this like far left ideology. And it's like I don't want to explain. I
Yeah.
understand it well enough, but I don't want to be having that discussion with my kid, because it's
Yeah.
so non-important.
Exactly.
Like I'd rather be talking about, the interpersonal skill. These two friends helped each other, and
Yes.
what's it like to be selfless? And that's something I don't care who you are. Like that's learning a little bit more about being selfless or caring about somebody or being brave. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
universal.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, you nailed it on the head right there, Clint. Like uh, that's sort of part of the big thesis of sort of my understanding about storytelling. It's like speaking to deeper truths that
Yeah.
we all as adults we almost instinctively know, right? Like
Yeah.
we know like because we've been through it, we've had experience. But kids growing up, the world is new to them, and they kind of just need a little bit of guidance, or maybe some kind of idea presented to them in such a way where they can sort of think about it on their own, and it's not going to like detriment their upbringing in any way.
Yeah.
So,
All right, exactly.
so anyway,
Danica says,
oh
I don't
yeah,
have kids, but I hear scary things from other parents about fellow adults suggesting mature material for their young children.
ugh,
Yeah, I mean, you just have to be, in my opinion, as a parent, you have to be proactive. And my kids, luckily, like when they see weird stuff, they're like, hey, dad, you told me that there was weird people out there. I saw this thing, and they're already armed with some knowledge. Again, like
yeah,
I'd rather talk about more important things, but it's like I know they're going to be confronted with it, and so
mm,
we kind of, I don't know, I just feel like being a little bit more proactive there it'll save you a lot of trouble. Roland
absolutely.
says agenda driven is a better descriptor.
Oh well,
Okay,
that's what I
yeah,
used. So
there we
and
go.
you won't be able to get kids with that attitude, Dan Fan.
Yeah. All right, we didn't talk about Rexton.
Yes, so Rexton, the most mysterious member of the group. So he's the most capable one of them all. And he tends to kind of like save their lives a lot of the time. But he's like all dogs, he's a really good dog. He's a good boy, and in a sense, he's kind of like the emotional glue that kind of keeps them together, so to say. And sort of in his own way, he's kind of like subtly guiding them towards sort of like a better path, because he's got his own sort of mission that he's on, that he's trying to fulfill, but he doesn't have opposable thumbs, so he needs them kind of to help him out.
At least for the thumbs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he talk? Is this a talking dog or a non-talking
No,
dog?
he barks, but the thing is, like,
Yeah.
sometimes when it's necessary, because Marigold can talk to animals, like he will talk through Marigold. So,
Gotcha.
but he only ever says as much that needs to be said. Like a need to know basis, so to say.
Yeah, he's not going to sit and pontificate.
No, like Rexton is very much. He's all about. He's a dog of action. He's not a dog of words.
I love this with all the characters here, because now that you have kind of gone through the cast, it tells the story right here.
Yeah,
I love that.
Thank you. I just I just how would you say it? I just whipped it out, so to say. I just drew it. I drew it really quick. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like there's so many mistakes in that drawing. Is what I'm saying.
It looks good.
Thank you.
And I'm a fan of yours. I mean, on a few different levels, but I think like I've always thought your colors are so great. Your character designs. I mean, when talking about your comic books, like I'm really excited about this as an animation, and I'm gonna refresh it here because we've had a few people say that they backed it.
Refresh. Eh?
Ooh. Thanks everybody for supporting it. But I'm going to post a link here again and just sort of reiterate that this is, to me, this is very notable, and that there's hand-drawn animation. Like, this is Western animation at its finest, being produced independently. and this is what crowdfunding can do.
Yes,
So
but strangely, not many people are taking notice, Clint. I'm finding it kind of odd. I feel like Comicsgate doesn't quite know how to approach this campaign.
it's tough because I mean, I backed this. I don't know if it was day 1 or day 2. As soon as I know that it went live, I was like, "Oh, it's live." I backed it because I'm excited to see this as animation. I get that if you are a comics buyer, then you're like, "Well, what do I do with this animation?" But I think this is actually sort of, blazes a new trail of what can be. There's a
Sure.
lot of exciting stuff there if people are willing to get behind and make animation happen. So,
Well, don't worry. Narwhal will launch an animation crowdfund in a couple of months, and that'll raise like $100,000.
who knows? I have been seeing some of his animation stuff too.
I'm pretty sure that's how it's gonna go. So, but you know what? He deserves that success. Good on him.
Yeah,
but
he's great. I don't know. We will see. But if you haven't backed this yet, I highly recommend it. I posted the links below in this video as well. And yeah, I mean, consider helping animation happen. You still get a comic book too on most of these tiers. I mean, if you're used to paying $25, you can pay $25, get a comic book still, and you're helping animation happen. So.
And also, there's a comic book available in the add-ons as well for $15. If you just want to get, like, say, the download link and just the comic, you can do that as well. So
there you go.
There's self-publishing, and then the other lunatics. Who are the other? Is that me?
Who knows? We'll just leave it at that.
I mean, you have to be crazy to think that you could be successful at doing this. Come on.
Some of it, man, it definitely is a grind. Scotty Richard Studio says you'll get there. Yeah, I think I'm hopeful about this. But yeah, we'll help get the word out. And I know you've been busy getting out streaming, and you're spreading the word. So you're doing good stuff. But yeah, if you can't back this campaign, I would even just mention it. Like, put it out on Twitter, put it on social media, make sure people know about it, that there's actually an animation project being put out by a professional animator. And it looks great too. It looks like a super fun story. I love the way you pitched it too. It's like a medieval pawn shop kind of thing.
A fantasy pawn shop.
Fantasy pawn shop. That's right. Yeah. Love it. Super fun. So this is 10-minute. Is the plan to like slowly build these out and do more episodes?
Well, yeah, I've got there's another 10-minute episode that I've got the script written for and the scratch recorded for. I haven't done the storyboards for it though. The plan was one part of the plan was if I exceeded, thanks Trish. I was hoping to make like the extra episodes like stretch goals, you know what I mean? So if we hit the mark and then exceeded it to like say double the amount, like 1,800 or something, then that would probably be like the next stretch goal or something along those lines. But I don't know. I mean, once again, this is like another. I'm always like trying to push the envelope and try out new things. So this is like a big experiment for me to see, sort of gauge interest. And see sort of where people's heads are at. I know, like most Comicsgate, people just kind of want to back things with risque content. Best way I can put it. And this is like the complete opposite of that. So I'm trying to get on more streams. I'd like to get on Mandy Summers streams sometime, because I know that she's obviously a mother, and Wart the Wizard is obviously in the same vein as this. But she's very hard to get in contact with. So if anyone who knows her can get in contact with her and let her know, I'd love to go on and promote this on her stream as well.
There you go. Yeah, I appreciate the all ages stuff. I wish I'm always like, whenever I see all ages comics come out too, I'm like, I have that much more love for it, because I want more of that. Everything to be like rated R.
Because the thing is, like, kids are the future, man. Like. Yeah. Like, as we're coming into, as you know, the generation before us is, aging out, and we're coming into the sort of like the leadership position, the onus is on us to sort of like put out good culture for these kids to consume that, they'll internalize and sort of create as sort of like a mental foundation for them to build something good upon. And that's sort of like another big thing of reason why I want to make this and make it happen is, just good, wholesome, proper, well-structured stories that hopefully they can enjoy. So, and not be bored by. I hope it's not going to be boring.
Yeah. It looks fantastic. I'm excited for it. Again, I posted the link. Check it out. We have, gone over the characters, and we looked at some of the animation here as well. Some of the test stuff. I do have a question. Doing scratch audio with no storyboards. I don't know what that means. Any of that.
So what I described is like when you write a script, you do. I say scratch audio. Another. Oh, kids, they do still love comics. That's true.
Yeah.
The way I do it is before I do storyboards, one way to describe it is like a radio play. So the whoever's recording the voice, be it either you or if you get voice actors, they record the voice, they read the script, and then I can take that audio footage and put it into Storyboard Pro, and that actually makes it easier for me to do more accurate storyboards to what the actors are acting, so to say. And in a sense, I like it because it means that the actors can sort of like put in their own little, I guess, whatever they want to do, and even if they want to do a little improv, then I can add that in there, and it can sort of enhance the board, so to say. And it helps me because then I can like board the acting more accurately to match what they're saying. So yeah,
I've always wondered about that, like if the voice actor has to match the lips, you know what I mean, with the animation, or if it's the other way around.
Well, in Japan they do it the way you just described. Like they do the animation first, and then the actors have to try and make it match somehow. And I'm just like, that sounds like hell.
Yeah, right. So many takes. Like, no, you didn't hold that vowel long enough. Yeah.
Well, the good thing about the way I do it is like we do multiple takes. But the good thing is like, then it means I can choose which of the best takes I want to use, and then that's the one that I use. And they, at least for this one, because I've already got all the voice recording done for this 10-minute one. They did an amazing job, and I just really loved just sort of bringing their voices to life, so to say.
Yeah. I love it. How do you get your voice actors? Are you just hiring voice actors to do these roles, or are they people you know? And
Twitter, man.
Yeah.
Twitter. Look, you know what? As much of a garbage platform Twitter is, it's an amazing resource to find actors and artists.
Yeah. It works for networking. I think the problem is that it incentivizes you to just throw your opinion out there. Like that's the downside.
That's the hard lesson I learned. Like the key to Twitter is just to make your sentences short and sweet and just very vague.
Yeah. And then you connect with people like, oh, hey, I'll send you a DM, and then that's where you can get some work done,
Yeah. So there are some good aspects to it. And I found these guys, the voice actors that I used, I found them through Twitter. But I didn't. But strangely enough, I found Vaughn through Twitter, just like I found all you guys.
True, yeah.
And he's doing two characters in this short as well, so it all worked out.
Very cool. Does okay? So this first video here, is this going to give us something else?
Actually, before we go, I'm going to share a little clip, if that's
cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Please do.
So this is an example of Vaughn's amazing voice work. Where is it? There it is.
Mysterious old man who has no further bearing on this expedition. Did you say something? Oh, there you are. Dope. Were you trying to sneak away?
Yeah, I was trying to sneak away. I don't like being social too often.
Oh, you almost got us there.
Yeah, I'm not as good at that as I used to be.
Okay, bye.
I like it. I can hardly tell that was Vaughn.
I know he does such a good job playing a crazy old man.
Usually it's like you call Vaughn when you're like, I want someone with a rich, like deep, almost gravelly tone, you know?
Well, that's the thing. Like Vaughn's voice is so unique. He can actually do a lot of different stuff. Like he's really good at sort of like, as you said, the deep gravelly tone. But I've like worked with so many voice actors for so long that I also know that he can probably do a very good witch.
Yeah.
And a crazy old man. So because he's actually done other like scratch stuff for me, and he actually does like a pretty good like female voice, actually, strangely enough.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I will never be surprised about that part again, because I watched I like just recently were packaging up Dracula books, and I watched the Manti Te'o story. I don't know if you saw that. It's
No,
like
I
a
didn't.
football player that got catfished back in like
Really?
2011, and it was like big news, and it basically destroyed his life
Whoa.
in a big way. But they had the person that was catfishing him was another guy, and they're like, we don't believe that it was you because there were all these phone calls and stuff. And he's like, well, let me just sit in a dark room and I'll do the voice for you. And he did it. And this like big football, Polynesian football player, he could make a female voice. It was so perfect. Like I would not have known. It was amazing.
There are some guys out there that can do it like almost perfectly, and you'll find them on where I found out about some of them is you've heard of VR chat, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So there are some guys on there who do like perfect female impressions because they got the female anime avatar for VR chat.
Uh-huh.
And so they'll go up and they'll be like, hey fella, and they're like, whoa, you like a chick? Is like, nah, I'm a guy. And they're like, what?
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm so bad at it. I do it when I have to, like I'm gonna do a video trailer for a book or something, and the best way Vaughn actually showed me, like, there's these free voice changers you can put on your voice and like totally disguise it,
Yeah.
or at least to a degree. And I'll use that. I did like the monster voice, but it's respect, because that is not easy to do. For me, it's not easy to do.
Well, the thing is, like, when Vaughn does his girl voice, you can tell it's fun, but like he commits to it so well, you're just like, yeah, I'm willing to go along with it.
Yeah, you suspend disbelief.
Yeah, so that's a rare talent. Like, it's really funny because he's not like an experienced voice actor or anything, but like, I think with like a little training, I think he'd be like stellar. He'd just be absolutely fantastic. He'd just wipe out the competition, no problem, because he's already halfway there with the quality of his voice. He just needs that last little leg to get over there. Anyway, sorry, we're rambling. You probably gotta. I mean, you could play this thing if you want. It's just me talking and being an idiot. So
same. Well, if it's not covering new territory or anything, I don't.
No, not really. It's just everything I just described already. So.
Cool. All right. No, fantastic, man. I'm excited about this campaign. I hope if you're watching, consider backing it. I really want this campaign to happen. I want the animation to happen, and I think $9,000 is very reasonable for a comic book plus the animation and everything else that you get with this campaign. So yeah, consider backing it. And yeah, I think we can do this. Well, let's spread the word.
I want this to happen just as much as you, Clint. Like, this is something I've always wanted to do since I was a kid, and I've decided to try to seize the moment and try and make it happen, given where everything is right now. So thank you for having me on, and I appreciate your enthusiasm and everyone's support. And if we make it, I'll be over the moon.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate having you on. I think we'll end off the stream here, but I guarantee we'll see you around in the future. And can't wait to see what you do next. So
thanks. Stay fresh.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.